if you want to add anything. I know you guys have seen this, so really it'll just be a refresher, and maybe we'll talk about some things that we didn't get a chance to ask before. So let me do this share screen here real quick. And there we go. Let me move this. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and push play. So we just start here with the contractor app, just the page here. But we'll start off, and we'll want to talk about the one main thing is I want to tell the inside sales, the guys that are here, this contractor app is real important, but we also want to present it starting off with the relationships our TMs and stuff have, because this app is so much better when they are signed up as a Ruud contractor, that we really want to use those relationships that our TMs have and really help them to set it up and go through it and show people the app. As time goes on and equipment gets out there, we'll start having for your stragglers to come in, or your non-Ruud contractors, we'll have places where they can scan and get the app and use it as guests, or y'all can use it as tools as getting them signed up. So we really want to focus on that end of it, so that we can just make sure everybody gets it. But the main purpose of this class is just so that the inside sales and people that didn't have a chance to go to the dealer meetings can get at least a little bit familiar with the app, so that they can help the contractors as they come in and get used to it. So what is the contractor app? Basically, the contractor app is a good place. If we're not using EcoNet, it's being set up. Ruud's really set it up to help us diagnose, commission equipment, and repair their HVAC equipment without the use of the EcoNet. And the main takeaway is, if they didn't develop this app, guys, there would be 30, 40 dip switches on these boards. You know, with the technology that's coming out there now, they really had to do something to get away from those dip switches, and also just make things easier with the technology, just to make it a little bit more easier to be acceptable and to get through it. So also with the app, you can there's a good sales section in it with the HVAC products, down to financing, rebates, even the warranties up on there, and then the service end of it. You have a service tag on that. So let's see here. Why I moved to this technology again? View real-time equipment, sensor information, easier and faster installation of commissioning the products using Bluetooth, convenient registration and warranty sign up, streamline units with fewer components and fewer tools need for on-site work. So let's get started. Again, here's the blue section there to the right with the oh shoot, with the QR code. There it is there. We're right now, it'll just work its way down from TMs to Dave and I and others to get out to our heavy Ruud contractors, get them going first, get them started. And then as the equipment gets out there and as parts get changed and people start needing it, we'll make it more available even down in the branch level, inside sales, that kind of stuff. So Ruud should have this out, if I'm not mistaken, by the end of this month, hopefully 1st of November. So here on this slide here, you see your login options. Again, you have to have my Ruud account, or you can log in as a guest. You can use the app as a guest, or you can use your existing credentials and you can log into the app. You're going to find her later in the slides anything you do at the login, if you change your username or you change your password in this app, it will affect your Ruud account all the way across the board. So anything else that takes those types of credentials, if you change your password or your username in the app, you need to remember that for your other credentials, because it'll change it across the board. Just a little bit of something to let you know. So you can continue as a guest, but the functionality, and I've got a chart coming up that'll show you the ability to use all the functions of the app will be very limited. Again, creating an account. Again, we want to work with our TMs for those who don't have an account and help them get signed up. And like I said, if they do have a Ruud account, when this app does launch, it supposedly is going to transfer seamlessly from the old app to the new. So when Ruud takes it to launch. Recovering username and password. We can help them if we need to. If anybody gets to that point and they need help, call Dave or myself or any of us. We should be able to help them there. So, but marketing also. So let's get into the app. Let's get into the navigation. Ruud likes to call at the very, very top there. You see 3 lines. Ruud likes to call that the hamburger icon menu. So, so remember that if you hear if you hear me say a hamburger icon, that's what I'm talking about there. Down there, when you're logged in, you'll see your normal information. And then also you'll see 3 tabs on the home screen. You'll see install, service, and you'll see sale. And we'll touch on each of those briefly as we go on. One key thing to remember is anytime you're anywhere in that app, if you see that Ruud icon up at the middle top, that will always bring you back to this screen. So if you click on that, that will bring you back and you can start over, do whatever you need to do, move to a new section. But no matter where you're at in the app, if you go to that icon there, it'll bring you back to this page. So once you get into the app and you get it and you type on what we call the hamburger, the 3 lines, you're going to find, just like the old Ruud app, you're going to find your install tools, service tools, sales tools, all that kind of stuff. If you'll notice on those right there where they've got navigate to account settings, navigate to installation, service, and sales, it's available for the login user only. Okay, that's important. So we really want to get our good contractors. We want to get them signed up if they're not. I was surprised at the dealer meetings how many of our good contractors really aren't signed up with Ruud. So again, editing the account settings, and when you again the takeaway from here, you can look that over, but the main thing to remember here is if you edit anything in this app, you're going to edit across the board in your Ruud account. So remember that when you tell them, guys, if they go in there editing this stuff, make sure they remember the password or anything like that. The photos will transfer, all that stuff. Here's the chart I was talking about. This is key. This is a big indicator of why the logged in users versus the guest users. Your guest users are going to get down to about Bluetooth system status, Bluetooth repair, Bluetooth install and setup. They're going to scan the barcode. But once we get them logged into Ruud, they're going to have availabilities to product technical support, the EcoNet technician, distributor lookup down to parts lookup, all that stuff. So that's going to be key for us to push our contractors to get signed up. They're going to have to anyways, but they can use the app as a guest, but you really prefer to get them signed up. With that stated, here we'll start with the install screen. So when you get to this screen here and we're on the install side, you're going to see several icons there. Those top four up here, the Bluetooth, the scan code, the diagnostic, the system status, those are Bluetooth specific, and they do not need Wi-Fi or cell service. So when they're commissioning a product, changing a board, setting up the Bluetooth, scanning the code to learn about the system or the system status, they just need to be within line of sight or within so many feet of the appliance that they're, or the piece of equipment that they're looking at, and they can log on to that board or to that equipment using Bluetooth without any cell service or Wi-Fi. But if you see the ones below that say install tools, like your product technical support, retailer, distributor, as we get into it, when you get into the sales end of it, all that stuff's going to require Bluetooth. I apologize. Going to require cell service or Wi-Fi, because there's so much information in those parts there that your app couldn't hold it, your phone couldn't hold it. So you'll be using Ruud's networks when you push on those. You'll use Wi-Fi or cell service to get that information there, there's a lot of information there. So, but those top four, that's Bluetooth. Those icons there, those are Bluetooth between the equipment and the device you're using, whether it's an iPad, Android phone, or an iPhone. So now we're over here. If we move over to the service, again, you're going to see a lot of the same four Bluetooth remain at the top, but in the service end, we have a lot more. We have warranty lookup, technical support. We have the EcoNet technician, which I've got a slide for that. But if you guys aren't using that, that's key. Whether you're using when you're using EcoNet Stat or EcoNet enabled equipment, the codes and the fault codes and all that, that you can find that in that area, and it also has good processes on helping with troubleshooting and service in those pages. So if you're not already using them, really take a look at that. That's a lot of good information there. And then when we get into the sale, the big key one for me on this end, but some TMs and people might like some of these other features, but the two big keys for me is I really like the rapid spec and the AHRI lookup. AHRI is getting populated more and more daily as equipment gets taken care of, but with the rapid spec and the AHRI, being able to have that at your fingertips, that's going to be nice. It's nice that Ruud put that in there. So Quickie Comfort, Protection Plus, retailer lookup, distributor lookup, all that's in there. So I don't know much about the rebate center, but I do see that on there also. So now we're going to get into the Bluetooth setup part of it. And guys, I talk quick and I'm trying to talk fast because I know you guys are busy, but if you have any questions, don't be afraid to chime in or put something in the chat. Okay. Connecting to a product. So after you've physically installed and powered up the product, you can connect it via Bluetooth to set up the system using the Contractor app. So basically, once you get in within a line of sight or in that area, and that's key too, to tell your contractors, Ruud pushed that a lot. No more of that climbing up an attic if we don't have to, just to see the system status or to set up the Bluetooth. With the Bluetooth, we'll be able to do that within line of sight. So let's move on. Big key here. This is a big key slide here. If there's an EcoNet smart thermostat already connected to your system, guys, then the app's not going to be used. Matter of fact, it's going to give you that screen that you see there that says EcoNet thermostat found. That means they're going to force you to use the EcoNet, which you should anyways. They're going to force you to use the EcoNet, whether it be to check system status, set up the new and commission the new equipment, or if you have any change outs, you're going to use the Equalnet stats. So remember that the app is null and void in that part of it if you have the Equalnet. Setting up a product. Now this is a lot of information on this slide, but what I really want to get take away from is we really have the option to I hate to use the word customize, but basically customize our system. And it's very easy to tell the app. Ruud's made it very easy to tell the app what we're dealing with here. So basically, just like in this air handler, we're going to tell it, hey, here's our model number, here's our serial number. We're going to tell it outdoor unit stages. We have 1 or 2, what tonnage. We get into all that information there. On a furnace, you have your high gas heat rise that you can set. Recommend you just keep it at factory, but you can do some customization if you need to, that kind of stuff. So like I said, another slide of the initial setup. But then on the next slide, we're going to get into Ruud allows us the ability to have advanced settings. So if we have a weird house, a weird layout, possibly some different types of ducting, whatever reason, we have the ability to customize the system the way we need it to. But the key thing takeaway from this slide here is this warning label over here on the left. Ruud has put that in there to let the contractors and ourselves know that, hey, you better know what you're doing here, because they allow us the ability to change the settings enough that we could really damage equipment if we don't know what we're doing. But we do have the ability to customize the equipment fully for the system that we need. So, but that warning page there, that's going to be key. I'm glad they included that end on it. Again, furnace basic settings, no outdoor unit. And that's another key thing. We don't necessarily have to have an outdoor unit that's set up to use the app or whatever. We can commission that through the app when we put the furnace in or when we put the air handler in. It's going to ask us for those types of for that type of info in the app as we're setting it up. Again, another slide on the amount of information that we can go through. Blower off delay, we can AC blower airflow reduction. We have that ability to set that as we need. On demand dehumidification. Again, the customization of the system is great through this app. With that being said, again, the reason that's why this is in here twice, that warning label is going to be really important as we're teaching, as Dave and I and the TMs and as people are teaching our contractors this app. We want to reiterate, hey, well, if you see this come up, make sure you know or you understand exactly what you're looking for or wanting out of your system, because if you mess with this too much, REAM gives you the ability to damage your own equipment, so we really want to know what we're doing here. So anytime we see that, we want to take pause and really check what we're doing. Again, just another example of the warning label for the outdoor unit. Getting product information. This is another good section. I really enjoy this. A lot of good information here. So you can scan the product's QR or barcode to view the available information, tools, and documents. So you see there, when they scan that, it's going to populate with what equipment it is. This example is a U98V. You're going to be able to access the consumer literature, Equalnet zoning brochure, anything you need that might pertain to this U98V in this section here. Excuse me, guys, I have the hiccups. accessing product documents. You can find all the available documentation for the required product using the product technical support tool. Again, guys, I gotta remind you, if we get into this type of it, we're looking for documentation or a product technical, all that. Now we've stepped away from the Bluetooth and now we need cell service or Wi-Fi. Again, there's so much information out there and so much equipment manufactured by Ruud that, we have to be able to access that. So you're going to need cell phone or Wi-Fi to access those databases of all that information there. So I do like the key number 5, optional. You have the option to save or share the PDF in the document. On the top right, tap the share icon. I like that, being able to, if you're on a job site or you're with a contractor, or if the contractor needs to reserve that information or give it to somebody else, I like the ability that they have the ability to do that through the app. You can look up warranty on this. You can view a product's warranty certificate and access information about the homeowner, which is going to be key when it saves time on the contractor, saves time on the inside sales TM side. We're all going to somewhat be on the same page and have the information we need to process warranties, get the parts we need, that kind of stuff. And it's all, you can do this all through the app itself. Another big one, looking up AHRI. I don't know how fully populated this AHRI is yet, but I know it's getting there. Hold on just a second, guys. I got somebody trying to get in. I gotta escape from this real quick. Sorry about that, guys. All right. AHRI, I'm not sure how full Ruud has it yet. I'm sure it'll continue to fill up as they get more matches and all that, but it is nice that the contractor will have the ability, even ourselves, TMs and stuff, to be able to look up those AHRI numbers and matches and stuff and go from there. Again, another good example of why the app is really going to help us along.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
On that warranty lookup, can they search by like serial number on there? Is that how that works, or do you guys scan the QR code?
It can be, if Dave can chime in, but I'm pretty sure they can do by both the QR code or by serial number. Yes.
Okay, I'm just thinking for like a counter guy, say a contractor comes in that doesn't have the warranty information, because it happens 9 times out of 10 with, like, if the guys at the counter have it, if they just have the serial number, that unit will populate the same as if, they logged in like my Ruud.
Yeah, again, your inside guys, your counter guys and stuff like that, they're still going to have their traditional methods of being able to find that information. This is more of key if the contractor is at the homeowner's house and they need to let that homeowner know, yes, your warranty's still there, or whatever. That's where I see this being more prevalent. You know what I mean? That's going to be more important at this point there, because we do still have our traditional methods of finding that information with a serial number. That nothing's going to change on that end that I'm aware of. So
no, this is a guy in the field, Justin. This ain't for counter guys to look up when they don't bring paperwork. Because then they don't have a serial number anyway. Right. Okay.
But it is going to help the conversation between the counter guy and the contractor. The more information the contractor has out in the field when he makes that phone call, it's going to be a whole lot more pleasant experience between the two of them, in my opinion. So having that information at his hands, so.
Okay. It just seems like a lot faster than, them logging into my Ruud, going through all those processes and stuff. If they just had it.
Sure, without a doubt. And as time goes on, we'll find better ways of using the app, and we'll be able to we'll find our niches and how we like to use it. So yeah, it'll be a really good tool. So now we move on to section 5, product status and diagnosis. Viewing the system status. So they'll click on that bottom right one there, you can view the current state of a product status objects by connecting to the product via Bluetooth. So this information, this is with the contractor there, with the equipment within Bluetooth range, within line of sight, whatever you want to call it. And this contractor is going to have a lot of information at his fingertips. This is a small example to the right. As the slides go on, you'll see more of that. But this, to me, and probably Dave, this section that we're fixing to go through, viewing the system status, this is going to be important even for counter guys, but very important for Dave and myself to be able to help them through the problems they're having. By now we have this information and this data at our fingertips, so that's really going to be key moving forward, because just like on an air handler, we're going to see things like our current CFMs, our current RPMs, static pressure, things like that, return air temp. I don't think most people know that Ruud, in most of their furnace and air handler boards, they measure return air temp. They have a thermistor on their boards to measure that. So with that being said, that helps us with a lot of information to help them diagnose and figure out what part or what procedure they need to do next, so again, just more information. Even tells us electric heater size, current alarm counts over there to the right, a lot of information. And I like how all the way through they give us the model and serial number, so that we always have that handy to reference at any time. So,
Hey, Chris, is that supply air temperature sensor, is that going to come factory in the new stuff, or is that something they're going to have to add like
the
aftermarket?
supply, you said supply. Yeah, supplies. I apologize. Yeah, supply is always something that they'll have to add to get the return air temp. Return air temp is something that's built onto the board itself.
Okay, is that going to be like just a 10,000 ohm resistor, or is it something specific for
Well,
Ruud?
I would imagine it depends on what we're installing, or how we're trying to get that, how we're wanting to get that temperature for whatever reason. There's a lot of different ways of getting that supply air temp. It just depends on what you want to use there, so.
Help you with this, Chris?
Yes.
Any 10K, if it's a Honeywell, if it's a 10K thermistor, it will check it. Currently, it is only in the 96V and the mods. And you're going to need a return and a supply sensor on air handlers, because if they embed that in the board, you're pulling through the coil, you're not getting true return air. So air handlers are going to be accessories for that.
Okay.
Furnaces, I suspect down into the 95T or whatever is going to use this app, will also have that sensor embedded into that control board. Anything with the
I just see with every
simple 10K.
Okay, I'd say with all the information we're gonna have now, I could see that being a fairly common deal guys will want to put in there.
You're putting these in, and you got the opportunity to put a supply sensor in there, 15 or 20 bucks.
And
Right,
Dave,
exactly.
Dave, to expand on that, manufacturer, that 10K is what I was getting at. That's not going to be specific to a certain manufacturer, right? We're going to be able to use.
No, Floyd said in the meetings, any 10K sensor.
That's what, gotcha. So Justin, that's what I was getting at there. I think it just depends on what we're trying to do and what brand we're using at that time for that end of it.
Okay, yeah, because I think we're stocking the Honeywell ones now to go with for the outdoor temperature sensors and stuff. So that way we can have them. I see it being a pretty common thing. Guys are probably going to put in there for the temp rise and stuff. If they can put it in for $15, they don't have to get all their tools out, and they can see it all on the app and make adjustments that way.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be key, but that's going to be talks on our end to really, to change their processes and let them know how much easier it's going to be if they use that.
You make me feel at home.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so let's get back at it. Here we have again, just some another examples of the information, the statuses in furnaces. Some more flame This is key. I missed that in my first class, but I need to talk about it here. Flame rectification or flame sense, all that, that's all done through the app now. It's a digital signal. So the days of them hooking their multimeter up and checking millivolts or anything like that, that's gone with the new M1. So if there want no more yellow blinking lights, none of that. So if they're going to want to know their flame sense, they're going to have to use the app to they're going to have to use their app or their EcoNet thermostat to see that in the new M1 product. So that is a digital sense. That is a digital signal now. So that is something that we need to remember when we're talking about getting them to using the app and stuff like that. That's going to be key. A lot of them guys are going to need the app to read that to understand where they're at on the flame sense. So moving forward. Again, more information on your outdoor unit. I can't tell you enough, guys. This is going to be key for Dave and I alone. This information. We are now, the contractors now able to get this information that we're having to beg them to put tools on job sites and stuff. They're going to have it at their fingertips so that we can help them out. It's going to help us out a lot, being able to have this information in front of us. Liquid line temps, compressor actual speed, subcooling calculations, a lot of that. So again, it's really thought out on Ruud's part to do that. Let's see. More examples. AC input voltage, that's going to be key, especially as they move up in higher tiers with these inverter boards, being able and things like that, being able to know the voltage, the AC input voltage, to see if it's running high and if we're killing these drivers and killing these drive boards and stuff like that. So again, there's a lot of information that can be had through here. And you can run a diagnosis. You can run a products diagnosis via Bluetooth and check for active alarms and view alarm histories. You'll find that with that bottom left one there. Again, a lot of good information that's going to be able to go in and run this diagnostic, and that contractor is going to be able to tell, is there a history or is there a pattern to these alarms? They're going to help him troubleshoot his system that he's dealing with, so get again another example of good information through the app. When the phone is connected to the internet, you can see more diagnostic information, which is taking us back to even the EcoNet help pages with the A codes and all that. So if you're not already familiar with those EcoNet pages, they've been on the Ruud website for years there, and at your fingertips. You can go down, you can find all this information. Now the contractors are going to have it right there on their app. Again, another example of that. I got a little ahead of myself, but again, the EcoNet pages that I was talking about, you can find these on your My Ruud website also. Service, section 6, service.
Hey,
So
Chris.
when we move over into the, yeah, Justin, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I got so many questions. I just didn't get to ask very many at the meeting.
That's okay.
I noticed on the kind of back when we were talking about the supplier temperature sensor, there was an auxiliary option. Is that something like is there any provisions for a certain sensor that's going to go in there, or is it? Again, Dave can help me out on this, but my understanding, that's those things are labeled for like your drain safeties, things like that. Am I correct, Dave, on that?
The auxiliaries?
Yes.
I know in the EcoNet, you can name them whatever you'd like. Your common
Right.
1 and common and OG 2.
I guess I didn't ask a question.
Whatever
Right?
you'd like.
What auxiliary sensors kind of would you? I mean, is that like a pressure sensor you can put in for if you lose like?
Well, we know in the EcoNet, we don't ever want to just wire a condensate drain safety to kill power to the EcoNet. So we use the auxiliaries and we name those and we put those in, and that gives us alarms or gives us functions instead of just killing the Econet system like we would normally do with the traditional
Justin,
system.
what do you have in mind? You said pressure switch. Where would you put a pressure switch?
Well, I know Floyd had touched a little bit about it, like, and this, if you have, say, a leak in the coil with the flammable refrigerant that's coming in the future
That's all going to be incorporated into the equipment. You're not going to use these auxiliary switches for that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
These auxiliaries are for your typical wet switches, whatever.
Or like
Okay.
like propane pressure switches, things like that. You can label.
This isn't there
whatever you
to add
want.
safeties. The safeties are already incorporated on the equipment.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bluetooth repair. So when we get into the service, what this is going to walk us through on the service end of it. What do you need to replace? Man, they really dumb this down for us and the contractors. What do you need? What part do you need to replace? You're going to have your sections there: control board, compressor, a motor, and then you're going to move on to, well, which product do you want to connect? The furnace, the outdoor unit, the air handler. So they're really making it easy for your contractors to be able to even replace parts on here. So if a product's control board does not function properly, but still has power and connects Bluetooth, you can save its data files and then install them on the new board. That's just a simple board change out. And the next slide will show you what I mean on that. So basically they'll power down the unit, they'll install the new control board, they'll power up the unit, and then they'll move to the app will populate the new board what the old board was. So we no longer have memory cards, guys. So we don't have to move one card from one board to the next. Well, the app will do that for us. So this is how we'll do it if we have Bluetooth available. It's that simple, you know. I mean, it's you know, and I'm glad Ruud puts it in there. Let's power down the unit, then let's power it back up. Because how many of us, especially of those us that's been contractors, we've reached in there and started pulling wires off the board before we even kill the power or the disconnect or whatever. So I know that sounds stupid to see that, but I think that's going to be real important, those steps. So, and then the app will update and populate the new board once the Bluetooth connects to the new board. It'll take that information and it'll add it to that board. And again, if advanced settings, I don't mean to keep harping on this, but I do like how they keep putting it in the slides. It's important. If we ever see this warning page here, we want to make sure our contractors understand if you're going to move on past this point, you better daggone know what you're doing, and you better know what your purpose is, because you can really start damaged equipment if you move past this point. So not that I want to keep harping on that warning screen, but I do think it's that important. And then if we have no power or no Bluetooth, these are the steps that we'll take to replace that exact same board that we had Bluetooth on. So if a defective control board has no power, you can replace it and install the default data files on the new control board, and you'll do that through the QR code. So so you scan the QR code. So basically, it'll be the same steps as you would with the Bluetooth, but you scan that QR code. So now that the app knows what we're dealing with here, what that piece of equipment needs from that control board, and then we'll go through the necessary steps again on replacing the board. Once we've got the new board on, and once we got the unit powered up, it leads us to our next slide. Once Bluetooth is established on the new board, the old board didn't have Bluetooth, but the new board, once we connect and we establish Bluetooth connection with the new board, because we scan that QR code, the app will automatically populate the new board for them. So basically, it's another simple and seamless way of doing that. No more of those, making sure we got the right memory card, making sure we didn't chip it or drop it, or all that. So I'm really impressed with how the app does that end of it. And again, this I kept this in there. You're basically doing the same steps just like you would for, I had slides for the motors, for the boards, the compressors. It will all be done the same way. When anytime they change it out, we'll still go through those steps to change it out, to populate it, and get the equipment commissioned and back up. But the key takeaway the reason I kept all those slides in there, the key takeaway we want to take away from this is each one of those boards, compressors, motors, they're all going to come with a tag or a sticker, whatever you want to call it, that has the new QR code. So what Ruud and what anybody would want to do is when you change something out, you're going to want to find a good, safe, dry, out of sunlight place on that piece of equipment where you can put that sticker or you can put that QR code so that in the future, if anything has been changed, if there's any more problems, we can refer back to that new QR code to have the new information that, hey, there's a new board in here, there's a new compressor or a new motor. For any one of those three things that any of those contractors change, they'll want to make sure they put that new QR code that comes with the new part into that unit itself, so we have future information about it. And this is adding the profile. I'm really not going to get too much into this because this will be something that the TMs and the inside sales will want to talk with their guys about. They have the ability to go in and edit their profile, their name, their phone number, all that kind of stuff. Just remember, when they do that, everything changes across the board. So across their My Ruud account. Again, they're just reiterating it again that if you change it, the password is going to change across the board. Let's see, this is if your smartphone has fingertip sensor. Again, another thing that Ruud thought of that's going into with the younger generation, Face ID, all that, being able to log into My Ruud, they're with the times. Those abilities are even available in this app. So that's what this shows here. Another key takeaway that we need to talk about is, and I'm learning more about it, but Ruud has really gone on a push for sustainability. They really want to be a standout in this. So every presentation that I or David do will probably have something about this in all of it. If your contractors want to know more, and in our presentation, I'll tell the contractors myself, scan the QR code. Ruud has a good website on what processes and what steps they're taking to become more of a standability standout. So that's real important to Ruud, and I feel like I'm going to help them out and talk about that. That's something they're pushing hard, and we just need to help them out on that end of it. So something like this will be in all of my presentations. With that being said, guys, that's my overview in a nutshell. When we get in front of the contractors, we are going to get a little bit more in depth. I do plan on learning how to become more real time. I think the guys will appreciate that more versus over a PowerPoint. For you guys, I just wanted to give you an overview, but when we get in front of the contractors, I know Dave and I are figuring out ways to show them real time how to set up and use the app properly. So with that being said, first, I'd like to say thanks for taking the time to join and listen. And second, does anybody have any questions, comments? I know Justin's been good. Todd, Jim, Dave, y'all got anything?
On that note, I got another one, Chris. Weird.
Okay.
What's the, like on the 2-stage compressors and stuff, was it Copeland and LG? Was that the two manufacturers they're going to use?
Yes, on the I apologize. I have a brain fart and I'm bumbling, but on the lower tier, yeah, you're going to see the LG and the Copeland. You're going to see the on the mid tiers, you're going to see the your rotaries, and then you got the Copeland inverters on your high tiers. So.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought that's what you said. I couldn't remember what the other
Yeah.
one was.
And just like I said, with this class that we had today, I know Dave is, and I know myself, probably next week, we'll do some more invites and we'll move on to some other things like boards. Also, we'll move on to get a little more in depth on the compressors, that kind of thing. Also, I want to let y'all know as we get them and as you guys will, Floyd has his breakfast breakouts. Once he starts sending those more to us, we'll get them to you so that you can get your contractors in front of them. Those are great classes. Floyd really puts on some good classes. So, and I know Dave in his area, he's going to be pushing that. So there's going to be a lot of availability to this training. Again, the purpose of today's was just to give the inside guys just an overview of what they've got coming. And then with that being said, you know, when I get finished here, this will also be posted onto the YouTube page, which is getting populated in it. And then I'm going to send out more invites and requests. We're trying to keep that between in-house and with our contractors, so it's not as public. So right now you still need invites for each video, but we're opening that up as it gets finished up. So outside of that, is there any more questions?
No, but I'll say one thing to you guys about, I know there's some angst sometimes with the global warming and the electrification and all of this crap, but I don't know everybody who was at those meetings needs to understand something, that Ruud's gone this direction because of three words: voice of the customer. The contractors that think they know what their customer want don't know what their customer want. And I'd emphasize that in my sales pitches, because this pushing this no scrap to landfills by 2025, their customers care about that, because the majority of their customers said that's what we want. Okay. You know, and all that crap is coming from the voice of the customer. So there's your answer when you get blowback about, well, what are they doing this for? Who cares about that? The customer cares about that. That's buying their product. So I would emphasize that and use that as back feed to them when you get a little blowback about some of this stuff we're going to keep pushing, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes real sense. You know, Dave's been a part of, I've been to a couple, voice of the, I don't know what it was called, voice of the people. What are those things called? Boy, anyways, the consumer, they really want this stuff. They want green, they want sustainability, they want more electrification and less gas. I mean, it's out there. So we might as well jump on board and do our part and push it through, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, unfortunately, it's what the customer is asking for. So that's why Ruud has gone that way. That's why I'm going to continue to have those types of sustainability slides in my presentations, and they're going to hear it over and over again, because that's what the consumer is actually asking for. So with that being said, any more questions? Nope. Okay. Well, I do appreciate the few of you that jumped on for this afternoon. Again, this morning was a good turnout. So I know we got to a lot of people, and Justin, I really appreciate the questions, because that stirs my thought process also. But this one will be recorded. So Justin, all those questions people are going to see and hear. So, but with that being said, we'll get this edited and we'll get it on YouTube for you guys. And then once Ruud kind of gives us the formal okay and the app's out there, I know Dave is, and I know I am, we're gonna with your help, we're gonna hit your contractors hard. This is information they've got to have in front of them, whether they plan to use it or not. They don't really have a choice. So we're going to do our part and make sure it's in front of them as soon as possible. So with that said, I really appreciate it. If you have any critiques, or if you have any suggestions on Dave and I's presentation, please email us, text us, call us. I mean, you're not gonna hurt our feelings. We just want to approve on this so that we can get more efficient at getting this information to the contractors. So don't be afraid to say, hey, hey, your forehead's too big, you need to wear a hat, or you need to do this or that or whatever. Just give us a holler and let us know what you think about them, and we'll go from there. But if not, I'll end it on that. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Chris.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.